Welcome everyone. I'm here coming to you from my office in Indiana, and I just wanted to say welcome to everyone. We're going to do a quick Family Tree Maker 2012. I'm calling it the Nickel Tour. We're just going to take a brief look at some of the different options and some of the things that I find really useful with Family Tree Maker. So let's get started. I'm going to switch over to my screen again. Getting started with Family Tree Maker is really simple, and 2012 is a wonderful tool because it allows us to auto sync all of our records together, all the different places where we have our family tree information, whether it's in an online tree or in one of our mobile apps for the tree to go. It's great to be able to enter information in one place and one place only, and then have it update all the different locations where you have your data stored. Getting starting is really easy. You could start out by just entering what you know. Just start typing into the little tree and it'll prompt you to put in new information, other facts, things that you know. Or if you've already using Family Tree desktop software, you may have an existing file. You could export a GEDCOM file, or it actually at Family Tree Maker will take an import from Family Tree Maker versions 5 and newer, Path, Legacy, or the Master Genealogist. So those could be imported directly. And of course, if you've got an online tree at Ancestry.com, you can go ahead and just download that tree from Ancestry. You can see I have a lot of trees. Some of them I have synced up with Family Tree Maker, some of them I don't. Some of them are just trees for neighbors and things like that, and this is a backup tree. But I actually have a tree open. And this is one I've kind of created for these desktop presentations, starting with my grandmother. And you can see that I actually made some changes to this tree, and so it's not in sync with the online tree. So I can click on this button here and show you how simple it is to sync up the changes that I just made in my online tree with my tree on Ancestry.com. And I'll click continue here so we don't have to wait a minute. But anyway, so this is how easy it is. And this is really great because I find that because I have this auto sync technology, I'm actually using my tree more often. Before I did a lot of the work in my tree in the online tree because it was so easy to click and attach records to my tree. But there wasn't a lot of ways to kind of manipulate the information. And as family historians, we really want to kind of play with the details that we have, create reports. I like to have a paper report with all the facts I know about a person that I can, sit and brainstorm with and jot notes on and that type of thing. So that's the way kind of how my brain works, is you want to manipulate the information and play with those facts and see what they tell you. And you can't do that as well in an online tree. They're kind of static. So having the ability to create reports and really play around with the information I have on Ancestors and view it in different ways really helps me to find new ideas and things like that. So let's take a little quick tour. This is our plan tab, and if this was my tree that I work in, I actually have a task list in here. I haven't created any tasks for this one. But the plan tab is where you would go to see if your tree's in sync, access other trees, maybe access some online things. But when you're actually working in your tree, a lot of the time you're going to probably find yourself spending in the people tab. And this is where you can view everything. As I said, I started this tree with my grandmother because her children are living. I haven't put any of the children in there or her spouse. But if I had her spouse in there, it would look similar to this, like her father. You would be able to see down here all the children's names and all their information. So you've kind of a family group sheet down on the bottom here. Your pedigree tree here, so you can see where they fit into the grand scheme of things. And then you've got your list of all the people in your tree here on the side, so that you can quickly jump around between people in the tree. And then here, if I wanted to edit information about Mural, I could do it over here in this side tab here. Now some people don't like this. There's so much on the screen. There's a lot going on. So if you really were just wanting to work on one particular portion of your tree, you can actually go and close off some of them. If you're just working on one person, you may want to close off this index by clicking on this little folder button here. And I can bring it back by just clicking on it again. And same with the family tree view here. If I wanted to just look on a family tree, I could just do that. And then I can bring it back by just doing this. So, and if I wanted to get rid of the pedigree view, I can just, it's kind of hard to see here, but there's actually a little bar here with little dots in it. And when I hover over that, I can resize it and get that out of the way and maybe want to see more of the family group sheet part. So there's some different things you can do. In this tab, the same thing applies to that. You can click on those dots and kind of move that back and forth. So there's some different things you can do to view different types of parts of this screen, whatever you happen to be working with at the time. And you can choose how many generations you want to show even right here. So that's helpful to know. Well, a lot of the things that when I go to look at a person, I really like to focus on one person. And this person tab here will let you access all the details you have, all the different records you've attached to that person, create these little facts and events. And you can go in and even create new events. I found this envelope. It's post-dated 1941, and we all know that we're getting very excited for the launch of the 1940 census on Monday. So having this envelope with a date and an address for a 1941 address for Muriel Dyer, I'm going to definitely want to have this address handy when that census rolls, because I'm not the kind of person that's going to wait for the index. I'm going to be diving right in there with that address, trying to locate her manually. So I'm trying to go through and gather these types of details, and this actually is a letter she wrote. This is her address here, and it's a letter she wrote to her sister, Madeline, Mrs. Paul F. Piver. So I actually have two addresses for the price of one here. But I've gone in and I've added it to my tree as an event. And you can see here's the event right here, the residence. And adding an event to or fact to your tree is really easy. You just click on this button here, and then I could click any of these different types of things. But for this case, I would select residence, and then I can go in here, add the date, the address, and a type of description. What is this object? And I can go in and add media to it. I can attach an image, a scanned image of something, or if it's something I've already scanned and it's already in my tree, I can link to it. So there are some things I can do to kind of jazz up my tree a little bit. I also found a ration book from 1942 that has a different address. So that was kind of a neat thing to have too. But going in and creating all these, putting these things in here makes it so that when I go to start searching for them in 1940, or if I'm searching for them in any other type of collection, I'm seeing all these details about their lives, and I'm seeing them and putting them in perspective. And that to me is one of the most powerful research tools you can get. And sometimes you're going to want to print these out. I'm a paper person. I like to write notes and draw lines and squiggles and stuff, and that's how I work. And so the charts and reporting section of Family Tree Maker is really a helpful thing for me. And this is something that you really can't get with an online tree alone. And to get access to the reports, you would click on this publish. And you can see there's a wide variety of charts and forms. We've got pedigree charts, relationship charts that show the different relationships between people. And there's all different shapes and sizes. You can show media reports, what type of media you have for a person, or source reports. What sources have you collected for this person? Very helpful to be able to analyze those sources and try and decide which one is more likely to be accurate. But the one I find myself the most in is these person reports, and these are really helpful. There's an individual report that's going to show you a lot of the details you have on each person. And you can go back, this is one I really like, and this is another one that I use to help prepare for the upcoming 1940 census. And what I did is I actually created a report of people who were alive in 1940. And what you do is you would filter in anyone who was born before the census date of April 1st, 1940. Oops, not 1984. And then I'm going to filter out anyone who died before 1940. Oops. Fingers just don't want to work today, do they? Okay, so you can see I've got this little pretty short list here. This is only a small branch of my tree. But one of the names here, you see Jane Ray here. She was born in 1806. I highly doubt that she was alive in 1940. The problem is I don't have a death date for her, so that's why she's popping up in here. So I can just go through and kind of manually tweak this list. I don't think Emily is still alive either. But here I have a list of now the candidates, a nice solid list of candidates, people that I'm going to want to take and print out a list, and now I'm going to go out and start searching records and looking for addresses, searching city directories and World War II drafts for some of the men that may have been around and registered for that draft. So all the different resources where we're going to find those addresses, I'm going to start looking for them and try to pin down where they were in 1940 so I can dive right in on Monday. You can do this with other collections as well. For example, let's try another one, the World War II draft registration, or I'm sorry, World War I draft registrations. We know that all the men in the U.S. who were in the U.S. that were born between around 1872 and 1900 were required to register for this draft. So what I can do is say, okay, let's filter in anyone who was born after 1872 and filter out anyone who's born after 1900. We can filter out all the women, and now we have a little bit of a shorter list. And of course we're going to want to filter out anyone who had died before the actual draft, which was in 1917 it began. So anyone who died before then. And so now I have a list of 3 candidates from this tree that I'm going to want to go in and search those World War I drafts and make sure I get that record for them. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful and a little insightful. We don't have time to go through everything, but I do want to leave you with some other resources to learn more about Family Tree Maker. You can go to our Learning Center, and our Family History 101 tab is a great resource because this has links to our Facebook live stream, our Sticky Notes blog, our YouTube channel, Twitter, and we also have a link here to this Learn Online, and you can go into our webinars. And you can see here we have an entire webinar on Family Tree Maker 2012 and all the new features. And also, if you go to familytreemaker.com, they have a learning center set up there where you can go in, you can download a quick start guide if you're just getting started and you want to figure out how to get your files in and all that type of thing. It's some really great information about installing and creating your first tree. We have a tutorial that's online that'll kind of walk you through some of the features in more detail than I've been able to do here. And as I said, that webinar is a really great resource for you. So I hope you've enjoyed our presentation. Tomorrow, look for Krista Cowan will be here, and she will be talking about getting ready for 1940. It'll be the same time, Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern. And again, getting ready for the 1940 census. I know we're all very excited about that. I know I am. So have a wonderful day. Thank you.